What's up everyone, Josiah back here for another video with Austin once again. Today on the channel we're going to be doing a how to bunny hop tutorial. I know a few of you guys have asked for this one in the comments. And it's also just a really important trick. You're going to need to know how to bunny hop to do pretty much everything else in BMX. So I think we're going to get right into this one, but please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Drop us a like and a comment, and I would really appreciate it. Also, I'm going to plug our Instagrams. I haven't done this yet, but I think it could be really useful if we got a bunch of you guys following us on Instagram. That way I can go and I can post like updates to the channel and some sneak peeks and stuff like that. All right, I know a few people have called us out on the terminology between a J-hop and a bunny hop. Technically, this is the J-hop that I'm teaching you, but I think a lot of the BMX community sort of just ignores, you know, the bunny hop where both tires come off the ground at the same time, just because you're not really going to be able to do this anywhere. You can't really do many tricks out of it, and it's just really not a good way to learn how to hop on your BMX bike. So if you can avoid doing that bunny hop and work towards learning the J-hop.
Alright guys, so step one of this trick is going to be getting the front wheel up. You're not going to be doing a bunny hop unless you learn how to do this. Well, for step one, Josiah and I discussed this. We think it's really important when approaching this trick, rather than just bending your elbows and trying to yank the front wheel up like this, you're going to like compress like a spring almost over your front wheel and shift all your weight back while keeping your arms locked. This is definitely going to help you. It'll also help in the long run learning manuals and whatnot, but rather than just bending your elbows, you're going to compress and shift all of your weight over the back wheel. I'll give you a few demonstrations of what not to do and what to do. First one I'm going to demonstrate is what not to do. So this is going to be all in my arms. As you can see, don't really have much control of the bike. You're not going to be able to keep the front wheel up for long. Definitely not what you want to do on your first day. This is going to be a proper wheel lift for you guys. As you can see, compressing my weight, straightening my arms, using really all of my body weight to maneuver the bike. Definitely the best way to do tall bunny hops. I guess in the beginning, if you really the only way you can get the bike off the ground is by doing this, guess that might work for your first few attempts, but really you want to move away from that and start using your entire body weight to maneuver the bike.
All right, so we got step one, which was getting the front wheel off the ground, and now step two is going to be getting the back wheel off the ground. I think this one's a little bit more difficult, but what you want to do is point your toes downward like that, and you want to apply pressure back into your pedals, and you also want to have a nice firm grip right here and put pressure going this way. Otherwise you're not gonna be able to get the back wheel off the ground.
Right, how I like to explain it is you're almost doing a scooping motion with your feet, so your toes are gonna point down, and you guys want to make sure you have some grippy pedals for this one. Definitely helps. You're gonna scoop the back of the bike up using your toes as leverage.
And just like the front wheel coming off the ground, how you leaned forward and down and then came back, you're sort of going to do the same thing with this, but the opposite motion. So you're going to lean back and then forward, really focusing on, you're almost like doing a push-up
essentially.
On this. Otherwise you're going to fall over the top of your bars.
Right.
So we'll get a few demonstrations here.
Step three, we're going to be combining steps 1 and 2. I think it's a good idea to find like a crack or a line, something in the concrete, maybe a stick, whatever you have laying around works. So you're going to want to approach your obstacle. You're going to use step 1, compress over the bike, lean back, pick the front wheel up over, and then as soon as your back wheel starts creeping up on it, you're going to want to scoop the back wheel up and just try and maneuver over the obstacle without letting your tires hit. It's definitely a great way to practice the bunny hop motion without actually having to commit to hopping up something or down something.
This is literally the exact same motion as a bunny hop. It's just a little bit slower than what you would do to bunny hop.
Would definitely recommend you guys giving this one a few goes before you try it.
All right, so now that you've got both the front wheel coming up, followed by the back wheel coming up, it's really time to start doing the bunny hop. It's gonna take a lot of practice, but really you're just gonna do exactly what you did before, but instead of doing front tire, then back tire, you're just gonna do it almost all at the same time. Your front wheel is gonna come up off the ground, and then right away you're gonna go and work on the back end coming up.
So the only other things I really have to add on to what Josiah said is when you're approaching your obstacle, they're gonna try and bunny hop or just on flat ground, whatever. You're gonna pick your front wheel up, and before setting the front wheel down, just try and scoop up the back as fast as you can. It's gonna feel funky at first, but this will get you off the air or off the ground, hopefully. And yeah, other than that, you're just gonna try this. Just keep doing it. Lots of repetition. You know, do it every time you ride, every day. You can do it around town, at the skate park, out of banks, into banks. Just whatever gets you doing this trick, just keep doing it over and over again, and eventually you'll be hopping up very large obstacles, hopefully.
All right, so now I'm gonna give a couple demonstrations of what your bunny hop should be looking like at this stage when you're pretty early on in learning the trick. And then we'll give you all some tips how to clean up your bunny hop, make them higher, and then also how to take it onto other obstacles.
All right, Josiah, I feel like we didn't really touch up on this. What should someone expect for approaching this trick, like speed-wise?
You don't need to go too fast. It's not like one of those tricks where going fast is gonna help you out. You can honestly, you wanna be rolling. Obviously, it's gonna be kind of hard to
Stationary
land and balance when you're not really going that fast. But I would say that speed that I just went at was a pretty solid speed. You know, just half a crank or so. You don't need to go that fast at all.
Beautiful.
On my demonstration, I landed front tire first, which isn't ideal, but this is likely how your bunny hop's gonna be. Eventually though, you wanna either land back tire first or both tires at the same time. It's just gonna sort of help you absorb the shock wave of higher hops or hopping off of things. All right, so now I'm gonna demonstrate a pretty high bunny hop, and I'm also gonna try to land on my back tire first, which like I said, is ideal. To do that, you're really just gonna lean back a little bit farther than you would normally, and it feels a lot better. It's a way softer landing.
Right, and when you guys go to start hopping higher, you're gonna learn to suck the back wheel up super high, and it's almost gonna drop faster. So it kind of just does it. It happens on its own, essentially.
Yeah, so you're gonna pull really hard, get your front end really high up there, then get your back tire up, and if you bend your knees up, that's gonna tuck the bike up and give you a lot of height. But we'll demonstrate it, and then that might make a little bit more sense.
All right, now that you guys are doing the bunny hop on flat ground, hopefully, we're gonna start taking it to some obstacles. We're gonna start off pretty small, kind of work our way up, show what you can do with this trick, you know, on and off of obstacles. Yeah, I would definitely try and keep pushing yourself with this trick. Not super hard where you're super uncomfortable, but definitely try and, you know, keep setting goals to hop higher and higher. It's gonna help you out. And this trick doesn't take a super long time to get really good at. As long as you just keep at it and keep doing it every time you ride, should be hopping pretty high within like a month or so.
First obstacle.
It's the average height curb you could find around town or whatever. Very small, maybe 5 or 6 inches off the ground. This is pretty ideal for your first bunny hop up something. Not much can go wrong. You know, you might get a flat tire or something. Unfortunately, that happens, but yeah, definitely a low risk obstacle to approach.
Let's see if you can hop up this thing.
We shall see.
Beautiful work.
What do you know? I have survived. Hopefully you guys will survive your first bunny hop up a curb. It's a lot of fun. You guys can go back down them too. That's another way to practice.
Let's see it.
Well, okay, we have to demonstrate. All right, guys, on to our second obstacle here. This curve, it's probably like double the height of the last one, so danger factor has increased a bit. You know, there is the possibility of casing with the front wheel, which I don't recommend. Definitely try and make sure at least the front wheel gets on top. This one's probably gonna be a little bit scarier for you guys. I know the first time I hopped up something like this, I was definitely sweating it. How I would approach this is rolling up, putting the front wheel on, and then sucking the back wheel up, kind of like how we did in step 3 of the how-to. And after you do that a few times, go for the bunny hop. All right, approaching it not too fast, not too slow.
All right, we're adding some more height, and another factor, as
Got
you can
some
see,
angles.
the landing surface is not level. How are you gonna approach this one?
So approaching this one, obviously just a normal bunny hop isn't really gonna work because you're gonna nosedive straight into the bank. So what I like to do is when I hop and level out, I try and push the back wheel down so my front wheel's up. And you might end up landing both tires at the same time, but it's gonna feel a lot better than nosediving into this thing. Definitely not easy on the wrists. So yeah, just try and suck the back wheel up and then get it down as soon as you can to soften the landing. All right, you guys are going to want to approach this one with a little bit more speed. As you can see, I didn't go super fast at it, just a few cranks, and you're going to really have to suck the back wheel up on this one.
Okay.
All right, this is one of the larger ledges at the skate park. This is like the best one to demonstrate this with. I'd say it's like stem height, roughly, maybe a little lower. So this ledge could be quite intimidating to some folks, but there's really no other way to go for one of these than just descend it and see what happens. Like if you guys are bunny hopping up a ledge like we demonstrate over there, you can definitely do this one. It's all a mental game, really, at this point. But yeah, just go for it, full commitment, and you should be all right. All right. Only other thing I have to add before approaching a larger obstacle such as this is you're going to want to bring a lot more speed to this one, because speed is definitely your friend when going up larger obstacles. And you definitely don't want to case your back wheel on the corner, get a flat, that's never fun. And really try and push the bars out and suck up the back wheel as high as you can. It might look and feel kind of funny, but it's going to get you on top of the ledge.
All right, we're on to the final obstacle here, which is a stair set. This one's definitely more intimidating. And also when you jump off of this thing, you have to be mindful that, you're not jumping onto a ledge. And so you have a lot more time to fall, which means you also have a lot more time to either loop out or nosedive. So you just have to be careful, jump, and stay level. Otherwise, it's gonna be a little painful.
Right. Definitely don't try and land with both wheels at the same time. Going down obstacles like this, it's not going to be easy on your ankles or your wrists.
Ideally, you want to land back tire first. You just got to be careful when you're leaning back that you don't go too far, because you have all this way to drop and a lot of time to potentially lean too far back. So as you might have noticed on that bunny hop down the stairs, I really didn't bunny hop too high. It's almost just like you're riding off of it and doing a tiny little bunny hop. You don't need to jump high for this one, as long as you carry a little bit of speed. But now we're gonna send one to the moon. We're gonna tuck this thing up and see how high we can get off of this. All right, so the last thing I want to talk to you all about is jumping out of banks or ramps. It's really going to be the same thing as the bunny hop. This is kind of how you learn to jump things, is through the bunny hop. We might put out a full video on how to do this, but I'm just going to give you all a little brief tutorial. So basically, if we have a bank like this, you're just going to carry a lot of speed, and really all you're going to do is bunny hop off the top of it. You don't need to hop as aggressively because you have the bank to kind of assist you, but it's really the same exact motion as what you're doing on flat ground. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this one. Hopefully this taught you how to bunny hop. It can be difficult for some people. Some people might go out and get it in 10 minutes. Others, it might take a lot of practice. So just try not to get discouraged and just keep trying it. And then another tip I have for you, I've also said in most of my tutorial videos, is to record yourself and then compare that footage to someone who's doing the trick properly. Usually you can see what you're doing wrong that way. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this one. Please make sure to subscribe, leave us a like, and then also comment below on what other tutorials you might want to see. But that's going to be it for this one, and I'll see you all in the next one.